adding cron information to a Jenkins view. One of the things you can do with a Jenkins job is set it up to run periodically. However, the only way you can figure that out is by either taking a look at a Jenkins file or drilling into the configuration for a job. But what if I told you there was a way to visualize that cron information within a Jenkins view? That's where the Cron Column plugin comes in. Here's today's starting point. I have a Jenkins LTS controller version 2.375.1. Now, the plugin that we're going to be installing is called the Cron Column plugin. And what this plugin does is it adds a new attribute that you can add for a column named Cron Trigger. Now let's go back over to the controller that I have. I have a job already set up, and right now, just taking a look at the dashboard, the only thing I see is last success, last failure, last duration, the default view for my controller. Let's go ahead and go into Manage Jenkins, Manage Plugins, go to Available Plugins, and let's search for Cron. And the Cron plugin that we want to install is Cron Column, and currently it's at version 1.6. So let's go ahead and click on Cron Column. And for this example, I'm going to install without restart, but typically I would go ahead and do a full restart. So let's go ahead and click on Dashboard, and let's take a look at my job. If we take a look at the configuration, we can see that we have build periodically checked and that the value for it is at daily. Now, if you're not sure what at daily means, if you take a look at the schedule, it takes you through all the different examples, but at daily, at weekly, at monthly, at annually, and a few others are all supported as aliases for whatever their specific cron would look like. For example, at hourly is the same as H and then 4 stars. So let's go ahead and collapse this, but we know we would want to be able to see daily. Well, let's go ahead and go back over to Dashboard. And before we set this up, let's go ahead and go back over to Cron Column and look at how to use. Once you've installed this plugin, you still have to update a view to add this column. So it's not going to happen magically. In fact, we saw that. We added in the plugin, but nothing's changed from a visualization standpoint. So as not to make changes to the default view, what I want to do is I want to create a new view. I'm going to call this Cron. We're going to select List View and click on Create. I'm going to go ahead and select my job. I could also select into recurse and subfolders if I had folders set up, but I don't. I'm going to select my job, and then I'm going to add the column. Well, let's also assume that I don't really care about success, failure, duration, or weather. I just care about status, name. I want the build button, and I want to go ahead and add a column, and the column name is Cron Trigger. And I want to go ahead and move that up to where it's the third column. So if we go ahead and click on OK, it redirects me back to the cron view that I just defined. And we can see here that I have my status, my name, my Cron Trigger column, which now says build periodically at daily, and then the build button. So by adding in the Cron Column plugin, we're able to go ahead, create a new view, and add this new column in called Cron Trigger. And that way we can see what the values for build periodically are within our jobs. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.